Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. I am just back from Buckeye Game Fest. I drove up last Wednesday. I got there. It's a 9-hour drive for me, not a short drive by any stretch of the imagination, but wasn't too bad of a drive. I got there Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon, so I was able to go and pick up my badge. And as a side note, in my experience, I've gone to Origins for 8, 9 years now, and picking up the badge there is a nightmare usually. It takes an hour or more just to get the badge. Here at Buckeye Game Fest, I went to the war room, no one in line, just grabbed my badge and just was there immediately. So that was really the first impression was great. So I got there Wednesday. I didn't do much Wednesday. I was tired. The 9-hour drive was not a bad one, but it was tiring. So I didn't really get to do anything that night. My intent for this Buckeye Game Fest, though, really was not to do anything. I know it sounds crazy, but I really wanted to go up there to get a look at what was going on. I wanted to talk to some game designers. I wanted to talk to some other people and get a feel for what exactly was going on there, with the intent that maybe I go back next year and get My Own Worst Enemy their own table there and run some events. So that could possibly happen next year. But what I wanted to do here was I wanted to go through a slideshow of stuff that I saw on the table, and we will talk about that as we go along. Now, I will say that this event was, as far as expectations go, is pretty much what I expected. It is wargamers playing war games, go figure. And people are there. It's funny. People are there just to do that. They are playing war games, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and runs to, I think, 10 o'clock at night. And there's always someone in there playing a game. So that is really cool to see. It's a great place to go if you just want to sit down and play war games all day long with little to no interruption. So let's go ahead and jump into the slideshow. These are in no particular order, and it will be stream of consciousness discussion on what we see. I don't have a script or anything, so we'll just kind of flip through here and see what we get. That is David Thompson on the left and Brant from the Armchair Dragoons on the right. They are playing one of the quads there. That is 30 Years War, and I believe this was David's first experience with the 30 Years War quad. I think it was his first experience with just quads in general. And so I think he had a pretty good time playing this one. And another shot, same game, same thing. They're just playing there. And actually, so I actually sat through this game. I was kind of helping David a little bit. So we kind of co-played this against Brent. But that is the Swedes there are in blue. The Holy Roman Empire, I believe it was, in orange there. And David was able to knock those guys off that hill he's pointing at there. I don't think he held it the entire game, but he was successful in knocking them off. And on a side note, if you look down there below where he is pointing, there is a dice tray with the Armchair Dragoons logo. That is a very nice dice tray. It's laser engraved. If you're going to be at Origins, those will be on sale. So if you like the look of that Armchair Dragoons dice tray, come to Origins and you can pick one up. And this is actually the same game. It's the 30 Years War again, and it's the exact same game we just saw, but this is on a different day. And this is just what it says there, a more perfect union. This is from Catastrophe Games. I think the designer on this was John Layfrom, if I'm not mistaken, but this was just a setup and demonstration of this game. I don't think it's out yet. I think it's getting close, but I don't believe it is out yet. Aha, this was This was what I was really looking forward the most to seeing on the table at Buckeye Game Fest. I've got this game. This is Most Fearful Sacrifice, Herman Luttman, the designer. I knew this was going to be set up and I wanted to see it on the table. This picture does not do it justice. This is a very large map and it is beautiful. It was just great to see this set up, to see what it looks like, because I have not done that at home yet. One of these days, I'm going to carve out enough space to do it. Yeah, that is a Most Fearful Sacrifice in its complete glory. I think they were able to complete almost a full turn, but not much further than that. Another shot of Most Fearful Sacrifice, and you can tell there that that is just a beautiful game set up, and it's a fun system to play. Another shot of that. As you can tell, I was excited about this one. Got to watch him play a few turns, and it's just an awesome, awesome game. This looks like GMT's Atlantic Chase. That was on the table. And this is Baptism by Fire. This one's from Multiman Publishing, and I believe that is the Battle of Kazarine that we're looking at. And this is Bloody Ridge, another quad. I ran this one, so this was my game. This was the Island War quad, and the players picked the Bloody Ridge Battle of Guadalcanal to play, and we had a very good time playing through this one. And this is the Giant Game of Diplomacy set up on the floor. So this Usually see this at Origins. This is, first time at Buckeye Game Fest, but apparently you see it there as well. This is Divine Right. So that is Grant back there. You can see him on the left from the player's aid. There was I forget how many players they had in this one, but they did a playthrough of Divine Right. I'm not sure that they found it as exciting as they were hoping it to be, but nonetheless, they did play this, and I think if you check out the Player's Aid channel, that they will probably talk about their thoughts on this game, so look for that. And this is for Defense 85. Tim Densham of Catastrophe was demoing this. I think this is a solitaire World War III game. And I don't know if if their plan is to reprint this, redo it. I think they're just taking a look at it, but this was just a demonstration that you see a lot of demonstrations from designers at Buckeye Game Fest. So that's another reason to check out Buckeye Game Fest. This is GMT's Fire in the Lake. That was kind of cool to see set up as well. I own this game, have not played it yet, so it's kind of neat to see that one set up. And this is GMT's Imperial Struggle, and that was also on the table they're being played. It's another nice looking game. This is a standalone card game. I should say it's an Undaunted standalone card game, 2-player card game. This is a Line of Fire Burnt Moon, and that's designer of the game, David Thompson. Their co-designer is, I believe, Trevor Benjamin is the co-designer with David on this, and he was demoing this interesting looking game. And this is Littoral Commander Indo-Pacific. That was on the table. And I think we've got another slide coming up where they were doing a large version, a campaign of this, where they had 7 to 12 players. I can't remember. It was something crazy. We'll see it in a second, though. Well, we'll see it right now. This is it. So this is it being set up, and it was taking up 2 tables, and there were no empty seats here. So the people were having a good time with this game. I don't have this one. I do have the first Littoral Commander, and I have yet to dive into that, but it does look very interesting. This is GMT's MBT, and this is, that's Tim again from Catastrophe Games. They are playing the modern quad, one of the modern quads. And if you look in the back there, you can see the Quad Fest sign that was made up for this event. Really snazzy looking. That was brought to the convention by Brant. I actually made up some t-shirts with that logo on it that look really, really cool. I should have thrown up a slide. So actually Brant's wearing the shirt right there. You can hardly see it. His arm's covering it, but so I made it some shirts for the event, which I think people seem to like. This is VUCA's new Cold War, and this is set up and ready to play. And a beautiful game. Again, if you know VUCA games, you know their components, and everything is top-notch. Everyone had a good time playing this one. Now, there wasn't really much in the way of a vendor hall there, but there was one war game vendor. It was Age of Glory, and they had a really, really nice booth. They were selling things by Revolution Games, Legion, Clash of Arms, Flying Pig, A Tiny Battle, and of course, VUCA. I was really shocked and surprised, happily surprised, to see so many different VUCA games being sold by Age of Glory there, so that was kind of cool. And this is Pacific War. The Coral Sea Battle was set up. Love to see this. I'm a big Pacific War guy, so I was happy to see this on the table being played. And this is the Pico Armor guys there. So Pico Armor, this is a 3D version of the game Panzer Blitz. So this is little micro miniatures of tanks. This is a very popular thing at Origins, and it was just as popular at Buckeye Game Fest as well. This will also be at Origins this year if you're going to come, so look for this game there. And this is another shot of Quadfest in action here, and they are playing the blue and gray quad. Just another shot of that fancy sign. Really cool. It looks even better on the shirt, but it's a really cool logo. Now, if you look on the upper left there, it does say Ardwolf's Lair. Unfortunately, Gary was not at Buckeye Game Fest this year, and people were really sad and disappointed that he wasn't there, but we all understood that he had a very valid reason for not being there. But he was missed, and hopefully he will be able to attend Origins this year. I'm pretty sure he will be there. And this is the Rise and Decline of the Third Reich. So the Quad Fest wasn't the only old war game being played there. We also had this. This is from the, I think the early 1970s. It's a John Prados game, which was interesting because on the 9-hour write-up, I was actually listening to a John Prados book, Islands of Destiny. So that actually was a really good audio book. I was able to listen to the whole thing, but the 9 hours up, 9 hours back, I was able to get the entire audio book in. This is Red Dust Rebellion, and, well, I was going to say I don't own this, but actually now I do, because I came back from Buckeye Game Fest, and I found this game on sale and was able to purchase it at a pretty good price. So now I own Red Dust Rebellion. Another multi-man game here. This is Smolensk. This is Barbarossa Derailed, and it is impressive looking on the table. This is actually not a quad going on. This is that game that Tim was showing Brant, the Solitaire World War III game. And we are looking at here Successors, I believe. And I think this was the 4th edition. This was played several times at Buckeye Game Fest, and everyone really, really seemed to enjoy this game. And you could tell there it's a multiplayer game, and there's Grant and Alexander again, but this is a multiplayer game. And everyone that played it seemed to have a very good time. This game is not new. This, like I said, this is the 4th printing. So this is, I think it came out in the 90s. And this is down at the bottom left there. That's Herman Luttman, and he is showing the Rock of Chickamauga, which I really wanted to sit through a session of this. But like I said, I was trying to avoid sitting, and I know it sounds crazy. I was trying to avoid sitting in games so I can move around, talk to people, and do other things. But this is another game that looks really, really nice. It's the follow-up to A Most Fearful Sacrifice. And there's Grant and Alexander again. But there are 2 sessions of Time of Crisis being run here. I have Time of Crisis, and there is a deluxe version, I think, that's coming out soonish. But this is a very fun game. I have a great time whenever I play Time of Crisis. And this is, I believe, Triumph of Chaos. This is a Clash of Arms game, the Russian Civil War. This is Twilight Struggle, the Red Sea conflict in North Africa being played. And this is that same game. Now, these 2 guys, these were my favorite attendees of Buckeye Game Fest. That is Charlie on the left, if I'm not mistaken, and Ted on the right. Now, these guys, the reason I say that they were my favorite attendees, they were there from morning to late evening. They had brought the games that they had been wanting to play, and they had a stack of them. They sat down, and they did just that. They played them. And that was, it was great to see. They were just there to tune out the world and play the war games they wanted to play. So they earned the My Favorite Attendees Award. Another shot at that. And actually, a nice looking dice tower there. I didn't really even notice that. And this is one I'm not familiar with. This is Warfare, a modern tactical combat. I believe this was released just a couple of years ago. This is from WBS Games. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with this one, and I did not get a chance to play it, but others did play it and had a good time. And this is a game of 1754, I believe. Yeah, down there in the corner, you can see it. 1754 being played, and these guys had a great time. Looks like there's David again, but they had a really fun time playing 1754. And that is it. So just a quick look at some of the things at least I saw on the table. There were many more things going on outside of the war room. Actually, there were several more things going on inside the war room. The one end was nothing but miniatures. I remember taking pictures of some minis. I don't know why they're not in here. But yeah, there were some miniature games going on that looked really, really neat. And there were, I think, a vendor that was set up alongside the miniatures guys that was selling some mini stuff. But overall, like I said, there wasn't much in the way of a vending hall. Thank goodness, though, like I said, Age of Glory was there. I did buy, there were a few copies from the Decisive Campaign series, not Decisive Campaigns, it's Turning Point Simulations Decisive Battles series. And if you've watched the channel, I've actually played one of those games. It was Midway, which is a game in the Decisive Battle series. But they had a couple more of those volumes of those on the table. So I picked up Saratoga and I picked up Vicksburg. So I've got 2 more games in that series, and I intend to do a playthrough on the channel of each of those at some point. I also picked up a copy of Army of the Heartland, which I'd never seen before. That's from Clash of Arms game, another John Prados game. And it's about the Army of Tennessee's campaigns from 1861 through 63, I believe. So needless to say, like usual, I did not come back empty-handed. But that's it. I had a very positive experience at Buckeye Game Fest. It was good to go in and kind of do a reconnaissance and check out what was going on there. I'm going to try, like I said, I'm going to try to go back next year. So hopefully My Own Worst Enemy will be there next year in its full glory. If you're considering going to this and your fear is that you're going to get there and have nothing to do, from what I could tell, don't have that fear. I think if you showed up if you didn't sign up for any events, what I would do is I would bring a couple of games that you wanted to play. And I think you're going to find somebody to play. It's all this is just people playing games. There are several people that were actually walking around looking for game sessions that they could play in. Steve Jones from Blue Panther was there. He was doing that. He was walking around looking for a game that he could sit in on and play. Did that a couple of times, and some of the designers, you saw David and Herman there, they were kind of doing the same thing. They would walk around and look for games to play in. So yeah, if you're thinking about going, but your fear is you're not going to get a chance to play a game, I don't think that's a valid fear, really. Just it would be better if you could coordinate with someone and get into an event, but just show up with an armful of games and sit down and play. I think you'll find somebody eager to play along. So that's it. My slideshow presentation of what I saw at Buckeye Game Fest. And like I said, I do plan on trying to make a return next year. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time.